Hello everyone, my name is Anna and I love Kilian's Angel Share. Not that that's like a hot take or anything, it's one of the most popular fragrances for a reason. This video has been months in the making trying to get my hands on as many Angel Share dupes as possible, and I don't even know if people even care about this video, but I do. Back when I first smelled Angel Share and fell in love, there was absolutely no way that I was going to be spending that kind of money on a perfume. So I did some Googling, I watched some YouTube videos to try and find some cheaper alternatives. Through that, I found so many alleged dupes as well as so many different opinions on all of them, so I decided to put them to the test to find the most similar and the best performing. I have 16 fragrances total to go over today, and sadly there were a couple that I just could not get a hold of, including Intoxicated by Lafed and Duo Brand's Angelic Elixir. Plus I'm sure that there are still so many that I haven't even heard of, so if you've tried any Angel Share dupes that I don't mention today, please leave us your thoughts in the comments below. Disclaimer alert, if you didn't already know, scent is very subjective. The way my nose perceives a fragrance might be completely different than the way yours does, especially when it comes to the fragrance mixing with our body chemistries. Even its performance can vary from person to person. So you might watch this video and hear me describe a fragrance that you've tried in a completely different way than you would describe it. You might think that some of these perfumes smell a lot more similar to Angel Share than I do, and vice versa. I'm solely sharing my opinions and my experiences with these fragrances so that you hopefully have a slightly better understanding of the differences and nuances between all of them. If you have a completely different experience with any of the perfumes I mentioned today, I would love to hear your thoughts in the comments, and I'm sure lots of viewers would as well. First, I want to go over how I perceive Angel Share. If you're not that familiar with the perfume, it has a top note of cognac, middle notes of cinnamon, tonka bean, oak, and hedione, and base notes of vanilla, praline, sandalwood, and candied almond. On the dry down, it's a boozy, lightly spicy, and almost fresh apple scent. It has lots of cognac, cinnamon, and oak. It's very warm, a bit sexy, but overall unisex. That being said, after a couple of hours of wear, it definitely sweetens quite a bit and develops a light creaminess as the vanilla and praline start coming through. So I can see how some people might perceive it as a little bit more on the feminine side. Overall, it has a beautiful apple pie-like sillage, incredible projection, and lasts all day, if not more, on me. Okay, now let me give you a quick little rundown on the point system that I'm using to rank these perfumes. There are 4 categories, each of which have 5 points, and the first one is cost per 50 milliliters. It is kind of an arbitrary number, but that's just always how I've ranked the cost of perfumes. Basically, if you can buy a 50 milliliter bottle for under $50, it's getting 5 points. If it's between $50 and $100, it's getting 4 points, and if it's between $100 and $150, it's getting 3 points, and so on and so forth. Because most of these are from dupe houses, they are on the cheaper side, so none of the perfumes are going to be getting less than 3 stars for cost. Also, keep in mind that any price I mention is in Canadian dollars, okay? So don't go into my comments trying to correct me. I'm not American. Plus, our access to retailers that carry the perfumes probably varies, as does the cost. The next category is similarity, which again is very subjective, so please feel free to disagree. I considered both the dry down and how the perfume wears throughout the day, since Angel Share isn't a linear fragrance. The third category is performance, so how well it projects, its sillage, and how long it lasts. For some examples, if it lasts all day or even nearly all day with at least moderate sillage, it's getting 5 points. If it lasts up to 6 hours with moderate projection, it's getting 4 points. If it's a little bit more faint but still lasts about 6 hours, it's getting 3 points. If it has minimal projection and lasts about 4 hours, it's getting 2 points, and if it's very faint and fades very quickly, it's getting 1 point. The final category is general personal likability. There are some perfumes here that I don't think smell anything like Angel Share, but that I do either really like or really dislike, so we'll be getting points based on that. In total, these categories give 20 points to work with, so there are some fragrances with the same number of points, in which case I just made a personal decision on which should come before the other, usually based off of just how well I like the perfume. I'm gonna go over them from least to most points, which means that first up with a total of 12 points is Alexandria Fragrance's Apple Crumb. This is actually a dupe of Oakcha by Perfume de Marie, but I saw so many people on Fragrantica comparing it to Angel Share, so I decided to include it. It has top notes of cinnamon and honey, middle notes of ambergris, benzoin, and labdanum, and base notes of patchouli, musk, vanilla, and tonka bean. Just a heads up, I will not be going over the notes for every single fragrance because a lot of them are very similar to the ones in Angel Share. I'm only gonna mention them if they're distinctly different. Now, Apple Crumb smells nothing like Angel Share to me. It's incredibly woody with very distinct patchouli. I do get a little bit of cinnamon and honey, but overall it's a lot sharper and earthier than Angel Share, even when the sweetness develops over a couple of hours. It's much too masculine for me, and I'm just overall not a patchouli lover, but if you are a fan of patchouli heavy fragrances, this could be a really good option for you because it feels like really, really great quality. It has incredible projection and lasts all day and more on me, and you can get a 55 milliliter bottle for $89. Next up, also with a total of 12 points, is Champagne Socialist Half Baked. It is similar to Angel Share in the dry down, but it's much less spicy and has more of a distinct fresh apple scent. It does get a little bit creamier as it wears, but nowhere near as much as Angel Share does. It definitely smells like an Angel Share dupe. I just feel like it's missing a few key components. It's also extremely faint and only lasts about 4 hours on me, and to top it off, they sell a 10 milliliter bottle for $24. There are a couple of fragrances from Champagne Socialist that I do really like, including Fragbar from the Tree and Bottled Bourgeoisie No. 1, but I would personally pass on Half Baked. perfect. Next, again with 12 points, is Oakcha's Heaven Speak. I absolutely love some of Oakcha's fragrances, while others fall pretty flat, and this one lands kind of in the middle for me. It does smell similar to Angel Share, though I do get a little bit more praline in the dry down, and it also doesn't develop the same creaminess. However, its performance leaves much to be desired. It's really faint and only lasts about 3 hours on me. And on top of that, it costs $64 for a 50 milliliter bottle, so there are lots of cheaper and better options out there. Next, with a total of 13 points, is Exotic Amber by Hamidi. Before I say anything about this fragrance, I should note that this is the most recent sample that I've tried. I've only had it for a couple of weeks, while others I've had for months, and as they've been sitting, my thoughts on them have been changing, so my thoughts on this are also subject to change. The notes are pretty much the same as Angel Share, but it does have bergamot and pineapple in the top as well. To me, this is a more masculine take on Angel Share, as it comes off very cologne-y in the dry down. I get really bitter bergamot and some musk, as well as a hint of cinnamon, but no pineapple. The vanilla and praline start coming through after about an hour, but it still is nowhere near as sweet as Angel Share. Also, after a few hours of wear, I get this strange, almost pine-like note that I definitely do not like at all. It is also a little bit more faint and lasts about 5 hours on me. It's definitely not the dupe I would go for, but if you find Angel Share too feminine, then this might be a good option for you. Depending on the retailer, it costs about $80 for an 110 milliliter bottle. Next, with 13 points, is Zara's Pistachio Infusion. Now, based off of the name, you wouldn't think this was an Angel Share dupe, but it shockingly smells quite similar to it. This apparently has a top note of pistachio, a middle note of iris, and a base note of tonka bean. I don't get any of that. It's not nutty at all, and it smells more like freshly cut apples. I can definitely see the similarity to Angel Share in the dry down, but again, it's more of a fresh apple scent than a spicy vanillic apple pie. The tartness does fade a little bit after about 10 minutes, but otherwise it remains pretty linear and doesn't develop any sort of creaminess. Unfortunately, it is quite faint and only lasts about 4 hours on me. I don't think you can buy this perfume on its own anymore, but it does come in a set, and otherwise Zara's fragrances are generally pretty cheap. I got my 30 ml bottle for about $20. I used to really like this fragrance, and I don't know if it's just because I've been trying so many great Angel Share dupes, but it's become kind of lackluster to me. That being said, I do think it's better suited for springtime than it is fall or winter, so hopefully as it warms up, I'm gonna start liking it more. Next up with 13 points is Fragbar's impression of Angel Share. I find the dry down of this kind of sour. It's also not as sweet, and I feel like I get nutmeg instead of cinnamon. Thankfully, the sourness does fade within 15 minutes, but it never really develops any sort of creaminess, and it's overall much more faint and only lasts about 5 hours on me. You can pick up an 100 milliliter bottle for $70. It's not a bad dupe, I just don't think it's necessarily well blended. Next up with 14 points is Amber Angel by Alt Fragrances. This is one of those dupes that when I first tried, the spices were way too overpowering for me, but after letting it sit for a few months, it has sweetened significantly and lost that bitter edge. That being said, I actually don't see much of a resemblance to Angel Share. It's woodier and not as boozy, and I don't really get any sort of apple. It has more of a honey and tobacco feel than it does an apple pie feel. It is a little bit more faint, but lasts 6 hours on me, and you can get a 30 milliliter bottle for $54. Next up with 15 points, we have Kissed by an Angel by Julianna's Perfumes. Julianna's? Julianna's. I don't know. On top of the classic Angel Share notes, this also has orange and chocolate in the top and orris, myrrh, and caramel in the mid. This is a lot woodier on the dry down, but the woodiness feels kind of plasticky. It's hard to explain. At first, it's really just cinnamon and woody notes. I don't get any orange, chocolate, caramel, or vanilla, and it's definitely not as appley as Angel Share either. However, after about 30 minutes to an hour, it does smell very similar to Angel Share, just a little bit less sweet. It's quite faint, but lasts about 5 to 6 hours on me, and you can get a 40 milliliter bottle for $54. Next up, also with 15 points, is Oil Perfumery's impression of Angel Share. This is woodier and doesn't have as much apple in the dry down, but after about 10 to 15 minutes, the woodiness fades significantly, and it's very similar to Angel Share. It does get a little bit creamier as you wear it, but not as much as Angel Share does, and overall it's much more faint and lasts about 6 hours on me. You can get a 60 milliliter bottle for about $90, so it's not the best bang for your buck, but it is a good option, especially if you prefer a perfume oil than a spray. Next up with 16 points is Lattafa's Khamrah. While it has similar notes to Angel Share, it's missing cognac and oak and has nutmeg and bergamot in the top, dates, tuberose, and mahonial in the mid, and amberwood, myrrh, benzoin, and akigala wood in the base. I absolutely love this fragrance. However, It doesn't smell like angel share to me at all. It's not boozy or appley. It's a tad bit woodier and has more nutmeg than cinnamon. It also has this light powderiness that's so delicious. Basically, if angel share is a boozy apple pie, khamrah is a powdered sugar date pastry. It's really sweet, delicious, and powdery and has incredible projection and lasts all day. Depending on the retailer, you can buy in a 100 milliliter bottle for about $80. With 17 points, we have Paris Corner Emir Fire Your Desire. I always struggle to say that. Fire Your Desire. This is another dupe that I did not enjoy when I first tried it, but it has recently really grown on me. It's much woodier and like khamrah, smells more like dates than apples. It's not really boozy to me and it smells more like the end of angel share's wear when it becomes a little bit creamier, though I do find it leans more on the masculine side. It has great projection and lasts nearly all day, and you can get an 100 milliliter bottle for about $60. Next up is another 17 pointer, and that is Zimaya's Sharaf blend. Look at this packaging, bro. Like, what? It really feels so luxurious. Like, gorgeous, stunning, beautiful, incredible, amazing. Love her. This has similar notes to angel share with a few differences. It doesn't have any cognac, oak, or cinnamon, but it does have dates, nutmeg, and saffron in the top, and amberwood, benzoin, and musk in the base. It's so delicious, but again, I actually didn't like this when I first picked it up because it wasn't sweet enough for me, but after months of sitting on my shelf, it has smoothed out quite a lot. I don't find it really boozy, though it is much woodier, and again, the apple has been replaced by dates. It actually kind of smells like you mixed Emir Fire Your Desire and khamrah together. It has beautiful projection and lasts all day. Depending on the retailer, you can get an 100 milliliter bottle for under $50. All right, in third place, I'm actually combining two fragrances together because they are from the same brand and smell nearly identical, and they are Maison Alhambra's Kismet Magic and Kismet Angel. Really, the only difference between them that I notice is that Kismet Angel is a tiny bit spicier than Kismet Magic. Both have similar notes as Angel Share with some added honey, caramel, and dark chocolate to Kismet Angel, though you wouldn't be able to guess because they smell so similar to the dry down of Angel Share. I don't get as distinct of an apple note, and the vanilla doesn't develop as much as it does in Angel Share, but if you're looking for something that just resembles the beginning few hours of Angel Share, then both of them are really great options. They're definitely more faint, but still last nearly all day, and you can get 100 milliliter bottles for about $70. In second place, also with 19 points, is Brooklyn Fragrance Lover by Alexandria Fragrances. This smells incredibly similar to Angel Share, both in the dry down and as it wears. The spices are just a tiny bit more powdery. It's kind of like you added a drop of khamrah to Angel Share. It doesn't project quite as strongly, but it lasts all day on me. They sell a 55 milliliter bottle for $89, so it's not the cheapest option, but still a really great price for a really great dupe. And finally, the winner with a perfect score is Fragrance World's Cocktail Intense. Again, this is nearly identical to Angel Share, both on the dry down and as it wears. It's just a little bit less spicy and doesn't have as distinct of an apple note. The notes are nearly the same, but it has some added plum in the top and myrrh, cashmere, and iris in the mid. It isn't quite as strong as Angel Share, but it still has great projection and lasts all day. And on top of that, you can get an 100 milliliter bottle for $30, at least here in Canada. If you're looking for the most similar Angel Share dupe, I would highly recommend you check out Cocktail Intense. So those are all the dupes that I've been testing recently. Like I said before, if you have any disagreements, please do leave them in the comments. I would love to hear your thoughts. I really hope this video helped explain some of the differences between Angel Share dupes and that it narrowed down some options for you. I picked up a bunch of gourmand fragrance samples from my wish list, so I will be going through them and making a video with all my thoughts. So if you're a gourmand girly like I am, then keep your eyes peeled for that. Thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye!